Peter Fox passed away last week. Peter Fox was coach at Bradford when I started watching at Bradford Northern. He came back, saved them from relegation, if memory serves, and then turned them into title challenges. That and some investment, of course, as well. You guys will know him far better than Rich and I. Peter Fox, what was he like, Gary?
Brilliant. Literally the Brian Clough of Rugby League, and he should have. I think the only. He'd say in his book what's missing was being a Great Britain coach on a tour. He should have took the 79 tour away. Again, it was just the politics of the reason why Fox didn't take the 79 tour away from there. But from a player's point of view, and I think every player who was playing for Peter Fox, you would not just run through a brick wall from him. Once you come through that brick wall, if there was a block wall behind that brick wall, you would do exactly the same, because he loved his players. I wouldn't say he wanted the same for the backs we wanted to reform as an half-back, because I can remember the first training session for Peter. We trained at Featherstone, and it was quite simple. Hey, listen, you pretty boys, you can do what you want, but all I'm concentrating on is my forwards and my half-backs. Do what you want. You don't need to come on the field if you don't want, but exactly how we're going to be playing, and we want you to do the business when we're playing on Wednesday night. So that's what it was like, But the way that his man management was, and the way that he gave not just the one-on-ones, but do I say that the passion about it, because you should have passion whoever you play for anyway, and certainly from a rep football. But you just wanted to play for the man because he cared about you. He cared about you not just as an individual, but also as a team collectively. And the way that he let you express yourself, and the way that he wanted you to go out there and play with a smile on your face, I can't speak highly enough. He was the Brian Clough of Rugby League.
I think the word that sums him up is man management. He did that in his daily life. I think he was a mediator. So he knew how to treat people, how to make people feel important. I think there were probably a couple of things that stand out. He was the greatest coach Yorkshire ever had. So he used to have this Yorkshire-Lancashire fixture. And you look at the two respective teams, and with the greatest respect, all of the great players that played for Wigan, so Lancashire always had on paper the better team. They could not beat the Peter Fox Yorkshire team. Didn't matter whether he got players from Bramley or Batley. They might not have been household names, but he got something out of them because he knew how to make them feel really important. I think the other thing that stands out for me was 1978 Test Series against Australia. That was just before the 82 team came over and reinvented the game, and Australia were started to look fitter than we were and had all the tactics, and the Jack Gibson era had brought them probably just beyond us in terms of preparation. We lost the first test, and 78, the second test was at Odsal. Peter was the coach, and he picked what was known as the Dad's Army team. Picked everybody who was a certain age but knew how to play the game, and it was an absolute slugfest at Odsal, as you would expect. And Great Britain won it and squared the series, and that was Peter's coaching at his absolute very best. Had a spell at Leeds. You speak to some of the players, particularly the overseas players who came over, nothing but love for him. They reckon they should have got to Wembley in '86 when they lost a replay to Hull KR, but his style of play wasn't quite attuned to what the fans wanted to see. So that 2 years, it didn't really see him at his best, but everywhere he went he made a difference, and whoever played for him will only speak highly of him, and that's the mark of man. A great I think he started the era of modern coaching. I was listening to Brian McDermott yesterday, who obviously made his debut under Peter Fox, and he was saying, when Brian Smith came in with all these modern ideas, Peter Fox had already been doing it. It just wasn't called sexy, or it wasn't done in an Australian accent. Peter knew how to motivate a team as well as anybody who's ever coached in the sport.
Good stuff. Amazing family, isn't it, really, when you look at it now?
Yeah, I tell you what, I know,
unbelievable.
and the tribute on Friday night at Headingley, and not just for Peter, but his brother, Neil, going out there as well, and the smile what he had on his face. And I thought on Friday night, I thought that's what Rugby League's all about, isn't it? The respect's what we have for the greats of the game. Peter Fox has been one of the greats, but when we are seeing the greatest out there in Neil Fox, and where that he was given the respect from both sets of fans. We all know what he was at Wakefield, but certainly from the Leeds fans as well. I think the Leeds club have to take tremendous credit for the tribute what they have paid to a tremendous Rugby League family, because let's not forget the great Don Fox as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. An amazing family.
And the other thing about Peter is he knew he was good, and he wasn't frightened to tell you he was good, but he could back it up. The number of teams that went to Bradford Northern in the old days, knowing they were going to get an absolute walloping from a huge set of forwards, he primed some of his teams magnificently.